my name is Gretchen. I'm the activities director here at Camp Agape. I've been involved with camp for about 7 years. So if you have any questions about the activities or about your daily schedule, come right to me, and I got it memorized right up here. So hopefully we've been using the same basic schedule for the last couple of years and tweaking it here and there. So hopefully everything's going to run smoothly this year. If you'll flip in your books to day 1 on the calendar schedule, I'm basically just going to go briefly through the schedule and kind of highlight some of the activities. Not that y'all are going to be facilitating them, but it's good if you kind of know what to expect in the activities. Before I get started with that, I want to introduce our high school helpers, our crew right here, so y'all can stand up, turn around. These guys are what make camp happen. They're getting those supplies out before you're out there. And they're up before you are, and they go to bed after you. So they're really the hard workers in the heart of this camp. Okay, so this afternoon, I'm sure Galyn's already gone through some of this, but the kids are going to arrive, and you're going to get them settled in the cabins, and then you're going to take them swimming. At 4:30, if you will all return and try to stay as much to the schedule as you can and be on time, it's very important so we can get things going. In here is going to be play ball, and this is just an activity that is a get-to-know-you kind of activity. It's just with a ball of yarn, and you're in your group. Your counselor will lead it, and basically you're just getting to know each other. Who are you? Why are you here? Showing that we're all here for the same reasons. We're going to have a camp welcome and songs, and then after dinner, you will all come back in here. This is the conference center, so if it says conference center, this is where you come. The boys are going to be in this room here doing songs and having free time. And then the girls are going to be in the rooms to the side. So if it's conference center, we're going to have like colors posted outside the room so you know which room to go into, okay? And the rooms that you would be using for activities are along this side here. So just look for your color of your group, and that's what room that you'll go into, okay? Of course, I'll also have the high school helpers directing you. If you have questions, they know where everyone is supposed to go, okay? So one of the first activities we do is called Safety Zone, and this is just an activity that kind of, for you to just talk to your camper and get to know them. Here, come up on front so they can see. So this is an example of a safety zone that your kid is going to make, and this is basically they can draw anything that makes them feel safe. Like you can talk to them about the things that they like, the things that they do, where they like to go when they're feeling scared, things like that. And on the wall is a big square with caution, yellow caution tape, and you're going to take their safety zone and you're going to put it inside that caution tape. And that basically lets that camper know that if ever they're feeling afraid, or if there's times that during camp that they need to go to a safe place, that is where their safety zone is. Is there any questions about that? Okay, so while the girls are doing that, the boys are doing Bible songs and free time, and then you'll flip-flop. Tomorrow night at 8:30, you'll go back to your cabins, and we just have a little team building activity, and you're going to be making group flags. So if you want to hold up, this is just an example of a group flag. The supplies will be in your cabin waiting for you. And y'all can decorate it however you want. We'll supply you with the markers, and then we'll supply you with a little bit of paint for your group color. Let the kids decorate it however they want. If they want to sign their names, if they want to come up with a group name, however you want to do it. It's just so that everybody can get to know each other. Another thing that you're going to be doing is your group covenant. Now, did you grab it off the... Okay, just hold that. You can come up front and hold that. Yep. So I actually have the high school helpers do this at the beginning of camp too. And this is basically your covenant, your rules for your group. And it's good to let the kids, point them in the right direction, but come up with the rules. Like what like about should we be respectful for each other, or is it a good idea to do this, and let them kind of come up with the rules, but so that everybody knows what it is. Post it in your cabin. That way when the rules are broken, you can look back at it and say, hey, you came up with these rules. Why are we breaking them? So that's just another team building kind of thing that you'll post in your cabin. And then tomorrow night on their beds will be a clipboard and a paper that says all about me, and this is just a little activity they'll do before bed that basically just asks them some little questions about themselves. You'll group those together. When you're done with them, give them to your counselor in the morning. Okay? If you'll flip to day 2, the first activity that we're going to do is called memory boxes. You want to pull that out? And this is just a special box that they can decorate however they want in memory of their loved one that has died. We have about 1 million stickers that they can do. There's paint, there's markers, there's, anything you can think of. Some of these kids make these creations that are just awesome in their memory boxes. So if you'll just kind of help them, guide them, this is another time where you can talk with them about their loved one. What things did they like to do with them? Maybe it's their dad that died and they like to go fishing. So we'll have you come up and we have fishing stickers and things like that. So during that, we're going to have a sign on the floor over here. It's just a thank you banner that we're going to take a picture with our to send out to the people that donate to Camp Agape. So just make sure that your child signs it before they leave. The other thing that we're going to be doing that day is called the Footprints Craft. And it's just a simple little craft. It's a cross. It has the Footprints poem. Another time where you can just kind of icebreaker talk to your kid. You can talk to them about what the poem says, but it's really simple. Along with that, we're also doing chalk drawings. Now this will actually take place outside on the road. However, if for some reason it were to rain, we do have brown paper that we can do it on. This is an example of a chalk drawing. You'll take whatever color the kid wants and you will draw around them. So you'll draw around their body. And then you and your child will talk about the different feelings and the feelings that they're having. Maybe they're having anger and they put that in their hands. Maybe they're having sadness and it's in their heart, or guilt is in their head. We'll have the emotion colors and words all around so that you'll know what goes with what. And usually by the end of day 2, it'll kind of be in your brain. But it'll be there too. We have the chalk is all those different colors. And sometimes the child doesn't want to do it at first. So maybe if they decide they're resistant to doing it, maybe you have them draw around you. And you can talk about your experiences, and that'll kind of get them kind of realizing what's going on, and then they're a lot more likely to open up to you. So that's what's going on in the morning. Just follow the times there based on boys and girls and what group you're in. After lunch is rest in the cabins for an hour, and that's, I would advise you to come up with a cabin rule of during rest time. They don't have to go to sleep, but no talking. Everyone needs to be quiet, and you need to be on your own bunk. This is time where all these activities and therapy activities they just need a time where there's just quiet and rest, where they can just kind of process. And like I said, they don't have to go to sleep, but it's a good idea if there's no talking, everyone's on their own bunk, and it's quiet. Tomorrow afternoon, there's swim for part of the day, and then the other part we have a memory lane game. Pull that out. And it's almost like a chutes and ladders game. You roll the dice, you move your space, and you and your child are going to talk about, let me see what it says on here. So it says on here, so I rolled and I get to a best birthday memory. So I'm going to share a best birthday memory that I shared with my dad. And then maybe you get to a Christmas memory. So you and your child will both share, and you can play this as many times as you want, okay? If you have a child that's resistant to playing, maybe you just kind of glance at the board and see what the squares are and just kind of ask them about it. If they're not interested in playing, maybe you can just take that time to kind of just talk to them and get to know about their loved one that died. Also then in the afternoon, we're going to have journals, and this is just a time, it's not really, nothing structured. You're going to be in the room. We're going to provide journals, colors, like colored pencils and regular colors that they can maybe draw or journal, write down what they're feeling, write down about camp, anything like that, just a time for them to have a quiet activity. In the evening is going to be the candle lighting ceremony, and the girls will be in here, and the boys will be in the large room to the side over here. And this is a time of reflection of why we're here. Every person will light a candle in memory of their loved one. So that's a really great time. It's from 6 to 6:30. If your camper wants to stay longer, that's fine. We won't tear the stuff down until the last camper leaves here. So just take your time. There's a lot of, it's just a real somber time. After that's free time, so just, I don't know, a lot of kids want to run around after that and get a lot of energy out. So have fun after that, and then there's showers and devotional and bedtime. Day 3 is a really intense day. It's a lot of activities outside. So on day 3, definitely make sure to have sunscreen on, a hat, and water. In the morning, one group will be doing a ropes course, while the other are doing what we call emotions, and these are a bunch of different little activities put together. So pressure bottles talks about how like we can bottle all of these emotions inside of us, and then at some point they have to get out. So we do a demonstration with a 3-liter bottle of soda and some Mentos, and they put it in and it explodes really high. So we talk about ways that we can get those emotions out before they explode, and maybe that's through sports or drawing or writing or reading or whatever. Volcano Bottles is just a mini version of the pressure bottles. So pressure bottles is a whole group is doing it together. Volcano Bottles, it's individual. Your child will get a bottle of water, or an empty plastic bottle of water, and they'll be pre-filled with vinegar in them. And you're gonna drop, you're gonna drop the food coloring in it based on whatever colors they want. They can put as many drops as they want in there, as long as they're identifying those emotions. Then you are going to put like a spoonful of baking soda in it, and it explodes also. And you can talk to your child about ways that they can get those release those emotions before it explodes. Another activity you'll be doing is called Slinky. And it's exactly what it is, a Slinky. So each child will get their own Slinky, and there will be a bunch of different pieces of paper that are cut up that are the same colors as the emotion chart. And they can put as many of those colors on there as they want, whatever they're feeling. Now, like this one has a whole bunch of red on it, so a bunch of anger, and then a little bit of white. White is our color of like, if there's an emotion that's not on our chart, that they have a word they want to put there. So, and basically what it shows is that just like a Slinky, like we might go through all these emotions, and then all of a sudden it might start over again. That these emotions are probably never going to end. But they do get better as you go along. So, and they get to take those home with them. So, also in the morning will be miniature horses. It'll be right out here in front of the conference center. And this is an activity we have every year. And I'm not exactly sure what they're going to be doing, but the lady that brings them, she has activities that they do with the miniature horses. And sometimes it's like leading the horses around. Sometimes it's brushing the horses. So The next activity is the broken pot activity. And these are going to be pre-broken for you. They'll be taped with some duct tape. And you can come forward, it's okay. So on the outside of it is where they're going to write things that they can do to release their emotions, like talk to a friend, exercise, pray, go to their safe place, write, read, draw. Things that they could do that will help them to feel a little better. And then on the inside is the feelings that they feel inside, their fear, their anger, how they are on the inside. And once they've decorated and written on the outside, you're going to take them and you're going to glue this pot together. And basically what this shows is that even though, is that once someone in your life dies, you're never the same. You could be your pieces can be put back together, but you're always going to have these cracks. And the glue that holds you together is our Lord and Savior. And so that's the broken pot there. So. In the afternoon, there's going to be swimming, along with two other activities. Is this little light of mine, and I don't have it to show you here, but for the boys, they do this. It's basically some like different colored candles, and they identify which emotion they're feeling, and then they, to identify it, they shoot it with a water gun. So, and they have to identify what feeling it is. And it's not to show them that you're going to extinguish that. That's not the purpose of it. You're not extinguishing those emotions, but you're identifying them. The girls have a little bit of a different activity for identifying their emotions, and that is painting their nails and making friendship bracelets. So we have all the different colors of the color chart. We also have nail polish remover, so they can do it as many times as they want, and the girls just love it. So, if you'll look on your schedule, I just want to note, because it's not on the outline, if you'll go to, on date, let's see, this should be day 3, in the afternoon, next to emotions, just know that starts at 2:15. Does that make sense? Like, it kind of got written at the bottom, but it's really those emotions are from 2:15 to 3:45. So that group of girls will be doing that. Does that make sense? The same thing in the morning, you can kind of tell it's better in the morning. But so just pay attention to your color group and what time you should be doing things. On Sunday in the evening is our luau. We'll have the cafeteria decorated as a luau. After dinner, you'll go down to the prayer garden, and we're going to have a little presentation down there with the footprints in the sand and some crosses down there. Afterwards, then we'll have piñatas and a concert, so that's exciting. And that night, if you can get your kids back to their room by 10, the counselors are going to do the devotion, and we'd like all of the buddies to come back here for a special gathering for you as buddies. And then day 4 is super simple. The first part of the after breakfast, the boys are going to be cleaning their cabins. And then the girls are going to be doing their closing circle, which is very similar to the beginning play ball with the yarn. And then we'll flip-flop. Girls will clean and boys will do their play ball. Yes?
I don't remember, Gretchen, from last year. Who states did the kids and the buddies go to the gathering?
The counselors. Yeah. There's a few things I just realized I forgot to tell you. On day 3, during rest time, there will be a clipboard and a piece of notebook paper and an envelope. And during rest time, we would like for your child to write a letter to their loved one. And then that's going to be brought to the closing ceremony. Some of the counselors, like, they'll just hold on to those, make sure their name's on the outside of it. They'll probably you can address it just like a regular letter. And some of the counselors prefer for you they can all hold on to them so none of them get lost, or if you just want to hold on to them, it's fine. And then just make sure that those letters are brought to the closing ceremony on the last day. All of the activities I went over are in this book, so if you want to read through them, I just wanted to give you a brief overview. I know it's a lot of information, and just for you to see the examples so you know what to expect. Again, you are not going to be leading these activities. The counselors will be leading them, but I just wanted you to know, what they might look like so that you can kind of, if your kid has questions while you're doing it, you can kind of facilitate it a little better. Does anybody have any questions?
The counselors are doing the night devotions, and we're doing the morning devotions.
The only one that the counselors are doing, now that's up to your counselor, but the only one that we really ask the counselors to do is that one on day 3, because y'all are going to be in here for a buddy gathering. Now, if your counselors want to do some counselors in the past have done the devotions every night, and that's totally fine. Y'all just have to decide as a group what you're going to do. Any other questions? No? Okay. Well, I am done with that, so let me see what Galyn has for you. Just take a break. Another break.
Did everybody learn how to make a pot? Awesome. I want to make one of those one time. I do. Does anybody have any questions so far they want to ask? Anybody? No questions? Nobody? Mark?
The materials for each of the crafts and things like that, will those generally just be set up already? Will we need to help with
Welcome to the worker bees.
Okay.
That is what they'll do. They're little amazing. They will go set it up, be there, clean it up, and you'll never even know what happened.
Cool.
They're amazing and invaluable and green.
For
today.
Today they are green. Yeah, they're awesome. So they do all of that. So your job is easy. Their job is hard and manual labor. So, but they're awesome. They are. Yes, sir.
I had a random question about if we take, like, us adults as buddies in the cabin with the kids. I know that they have to check their meds and everything with the nurse's station. What about us for our maintenance meds that we take every day that we brought with us? I mean, can we?
You're over 18. You can take care of your own
I
medication.
know. I just didn't know if that's okay. I mean,
Yeah,
we just-
that's perfectly fine. No, that's understandable. And that's a topic that I want to bring up is medication. A lot of your kids, when you get your kid, when they come in and you hold your little sign, I'm going to have their files, and I'm going to know which child has medication that they're taking. There's not that many. And we're going to have a nurse here, and they're going to take the medication and write the dosage down and everything. And one of the things as a buddy that's difficult to do, because you're hopping and bopping between events and breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything, is to remember to get them to the nurse's station to take their medication. And one thing that, sorry, my eye itches. I know, I'm like, ugh. Last year was remembering and I think I'm going to try to find some rubber bands to put on your wrist if your kid has medication. So maybe that rubber band will remind you that you have to take that child to the nurse's station to get medication. And then at the end of camp, when you take that off, that's your signal to go get that medication and give it to them before they go home. Because that's what happens, a lot of medication gets left. Yes, sir.
Comment about that. Make sure that when you go to get that medication, that it's not just you and your buddy. Make sure that you are accompanied by another buddy and their kid, because you don't want to get caught in a situation where it's just the two of you. Always make sure that you're within eyesight of somebody else. It's to protect you and also protect the kid.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to have Ayana come up here, and she's going to, come here. I want you to pass these out to all the buddies.
Okay.
Okay? What are their questions? Yes, sir.
For those of us who came this morning, will we have time to check in our cabins and put our stuff in?
Yes, sir. You will before lunch. Now, raise your hand if you know you have not given me your paperwork. I see hands that are not raised. Raise that hand. Raise that hand. Who else? If you have not given me your paperwork, do not leave this building to eat lunch without going in there and filling it out and giving it to Catherine. Yes, sir.
I haven't gotten my assignment, Kevin, or child.
Okay. If you came this morning and I haven't given you all that stuff, when we're done here, meet me in there before lunch and we're gonna get paperwork done and assignments done and tell you where to go and get all of that taken care of. Who came this morning? What's your name? Yes. No, girl. Cindy. Okay. Goodness. Okay, those are the devotionals that I was telling you about. Did everybody get one? Do we have enough? Do we have enough for the buddies? Ayana, do we have enough? Okay. Okay. Turn to some alternative statements when confronting the crisis of grief. I don't think we looked at this earlier. And this was called to my attention by a longtime volunteer this weekend. These are some alternative statements to talk about when confronting. I'm not going to read them to you because if you hadn't figured that out yet, I'm not going to read stuff to you. I'm just not. I want you to really understand it and read it yourself. But some of these are, at least he doesn't have to suffer anymore. A better way to say that might be he suffered through a lot, didn't he? And one volunteer who had a very terrible loss said one of the things that had hurt this person a lot was when people told them it was God's will. And that was a very hard thing to hear, was that it was God's will. And instead of that, one of the ways to say that different is one comfort I find is God promises never to abandon us. And that's our theme, footprints in the sand. God promises to never abandon us. So look at this terminology, especially if you've never been here before, because when somebody dies, you often don't know what to say. And it's difficult. And you don't intentionally say it's God's will to hurt someone. Sometimes you don't know what to say. Don't cry. You will only make it worse. A better thing to say might be sometimes tears are the best way to express our feelings. If somebody told me I couldn't cry, I don't think I could mind because I would cry. You can't be angry with God. These kids are going to be angry. And a better way to say that might be God understands even when we get upset. He understands that we're going to get upset. At least you have other family members. Another thing you might say, there's no way to replace the one that you lost, is there? Time heals all wounds. I hate that. I don't like that one at all. Time will lessen the pain, but you'll always have a part of him or her with you. Time will never lessen the pain of me losing my brother. It will get better in time, but it'll never go away. You have to be strong. I think it's important to let these kids know that it's okay to be themselves and that they don't have to always be strong. So read these statements and learn better ways to phrase things. I really want you to go back and reflect on the purposes of camp document at the front and the Camp Agape Creed, and really read these documents again. before your kids get here today, because I really want to go back to what camp is about, what it started about, and back to the roots of where it was so that we can grow it from here. And I think it's really important. And there's a lot of good information in this training manual. And if you have any questions, I'll be in the cafeteria at lunch to answer some questions. But quite honestly, we need to get the paperwork done and get people in cabins, and we kind of whip through this training a little bit fast. So I'm going to give you all some free time until lunch, and then lunch is at 12. And then I definitely need you back in here to do the, go back to your schedule to day 1, the child protection video. And then at 2 o'clock, from 2 to 2:30, I'm going to break you up into your groups. And you're going to meet with your individual counselors. And they have all the details about your children and stuff like that. So we're going to do that from 2 to 2:30. And then remember, I'm giving you this free time now instead of at 2:30. Because when 2:30, when we're done training, buddies, you're not going to leave, okay? I need you to stay here till your kid gets here. So go do whatever you have to do now. Go eat lunch at 12. Be here at 1 for the child protection video, and be prepared to go swimming with your kid. So you might want to go put your bathing suit on, or, you know, whatever. Okay? Anybody else have any questions? Okay, so don't leave if you haven't done your paperwork yet. Go see Catherine.